If they really wanted to target and debunk this fraudulent fundraising, the piece would just be like, hello, new investigation shows that there are many fraudulent fundraisers looking to collect money around the Uvalde incident. Here is a list of all the funds that are fraudulent.
Right, but that's not fear-mongering enough.
Right, exactly. Like that. That's what I'm saying. That would be helpful and informative.
Yeah.
And would sabotage the fraudsters. But instead they do this weird amalgam piece where it's half about fraudsters and half about how, well, really the state's giving money to the parents, so it's kind of okay, you know.
It's the Casey and Zoe thing.
So welcome to Propaganda Busters. It's been a little while since Zoe wasn't here last week.
2 weeks now.
And Zoe's queued up some horrific stuff. Do you want to toast first?
Like eat toast and chat first?
Yeah, well, I mean, just so that when you're doing commentary, you don't have to talk through food.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna take a couple bites.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm done eating for now.
All right, cool. Well, great. Just wanted you to have your time to eat if you needed it.
I'm good. Okay.
All right, so Zoe queued up some dumb crap, looks like, that the propagandists have been saying. And again, I feel like it's worth repeating again how we went to look to see if PragerU had anything to say about the Uvalde shooting, and they're just dodging it entirely.
Nothing. They've said nothing. I'll show you.
It must be tough to come up with bullshit.
Because maybe I missed something, and you guys can tell me.
Yeah. Well, you want to go to their YouTube, right?
Yeah, I feel like they might have more stuff on their
maybe
normal thing. But
PragerU story.
YouTube PragerU.
PragerU.
Yeah.
Fallen soldier.
So
remember the fallen.
The fallen. So yeah, this is an order of newest first, and let's see. Harvard student condemns anti-American, what the Soviet Union taught me. The real tension in America is this, talking about race.
Oh, great research.
And then he did a fireside chat 4 days ago about gratitude. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, Memorial Day, Memorial Day, Memorial Day.
Yeah, they've totally dodged
nothing.
It.
They said nothing.
So what is the PragerU thing you brought up?
I didn't bring up any PragerU thing.
I thought, okay.
Did I?
I thought didn't you do an unapologetic or something? Or
no. The unapologetic is the Johnny Depp.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, we're not watching that.
No. So PragerU is just totally dodging this, which I think says a lot. Because even for the best propagandists, it's pretty tough to spin this story to not make a person think we need more gun control and different not cops. Yeah, and so what's this first one? Uvalde school shooting, Texas state senator warns of potential fraudulent fundraising. Well, that's the real danger here, isn't it? When children are being shot in school, preschool kids.
It's the fraudulent fundraising.
What we need to really worry about is fraudulent fundraising around it.
Right.
All right, here we go.
Oh boy.
Believe it or not, today marks
full screen
that mass
mofo.
shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Questions continue to grow over the police response to a rampage that left 19 kids and 2 teachers dead. Texas Democratic State Senator Roland Gutierrez, this is part of his jurisdiction in Texas. Sir, good morning to you, and thank you for your time.
Explain yourself.
Today. It's such a sad moment there. What do you need today in order to help the families make it to tomorrow and next week and the month and the year after that?
Gun control.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. I mean, clearly we need some mental health resources. That's number one. We've asked the governor for a grant.
But also, if that's what you're saying, then universal health care.
Right.
If you're going to make this a mental health issue, which is a factor, without a doubt, then you should support universal health care. Otherwise, you're just a bullshitter.
Mental health help is insanely expensive.
Yeah, totally.
Ridiculously expensive. And a lot of it isn't covered by insurance.
No, not at all. So yeah, it's just hypocritical to say, well, we need to address the mental health. And it's like, okay, can we fund universal health care? No!
Clinic, we're waiting on a response on that. The president also suggested we were going to get some resources for that. The president also suggested we were going to look to a federal grant to raise the school. It's sad that such a grant exists in these United States, but it does. There is a lot of fraud going on.
A federal grant to what, the school?
He said raise a school.
To raise the school?
Yeah, a federal grant to raise the school, I'm pretty sure is what he said, which doesn't make any sense.
Does he mean like give raises to the teachers?
I don't know.
That's weird.
You know, and I don't think he'll explain.
Giving, but just vet who you're giving to.
Oh, raise.
To raise, is that what he said?
Wait, what is... I'm actually forgetting the because there's another definition.
Of raise?
Well, the different spelling.
Oh, how did he spell it? R-A-Z-E? Hold on.
Fraud going on.
Well, that's obviously just
giving,
the subtitle.
But just vet who you're giving to.
Yeah, because raise, R-A-Z-E, that's what I thought it meant. It means destroyed. Like, burned to the ground.
So funding to...
Raise the school? I don't know what he was trying to say. I guess he misspoke. Okay.
Called organizations raising money on these poor babies' images, these families' names, and where that money is not going to where it needs to go. And so I've asked the Attorney General's office in a letter this morning to look into that issue and to also maximize the victim assistance program that the state offers so that at least each complainant can get the maximum amount of $50,000. We shouldn't be asked these families, they're very poor.
That's what you get when the cops get your kids murdered.
Yeah, 50 grand.
50 grand.
That fixes it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, the fraudulent fundraising, and this always happens. Anytime there's a tragedy, anything that gets media attention, there's always fraudulent. There's always con artists everywhere who hop on this stuff and they'll start going like, I've started a fund to get the parents whatever. And so that is horrible. And like, yeah, good to call that out and investigate it. And I'm glad that they're also speaking to some kind of compensatory actions for the parents, even though obviously $50,000 is nothing in the face of dead kids.
No.
But yeah, it's still seems like a strange emphasis to even draw this attention to it. I don't know.
It's drawing attention away from the real issue at hand.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, these people they're stupid, but a lot of these pundits are not stupid. They're liars.
Well, yes.
They're manipulating purposefully. And this whole, like, drawing attention away, talking about the fraudulent fundraising, talking about mental health care, all of this is because they know that the answer is gun control.
Yeah.
These people are not unaware.
But gun control would cost them money and power.
Well, right,
so
because they get so many Republicans get money from the NRA, and I just said this earlier, that the NRA makes more money after a shooting because people are buying more guns because the right is essentially paid to fearmonger and say everyone's coming to take your guns away. So the people who want to fuck their guns are buying 15 more guns, you know, and that's obviously hyperbolic, but like. It's
not always.
Really.
People might buy 15
but it's
guns.
insane. Like there should not be a hike in profits following shootings.
Yeah.
And there are. And this is so clearly about making money and staying in power and has nothing to do with them caring about the lives of the kids that were killed.
No.
Nor anyone who's been killed in the 14 mass shootings since.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know.
Yeah, and important to reiterate that since Uvalde, there have been 14 more shootings in the U.S. that just aren't even getting coverage because we don't even have the time or attention for how much horror is taking place. Also, this is also clearly meant to push this narrative of what was I thinking of? Not the mental health angle. Oh, God, I lost it. But the other thing that's it'll come back to me. The other thing that's going on here is that if they really wanted to target and debunk this fraudulent fundraising, the piece would just be like, hello, new investigation shows that there are many fraudulent fundraisers looking to collect money around the Uvalde incident. Here is a list of all the funds that are fraudulent.
Right, but that's not fear-mongering enough.
Right, exactly. Like that. That's what I'm saying. That would be helpful and informative.
Yeah.
And would sabotage the fraudsters. But instead, they do this weird amalgam piece where it's half about fraudsters and half about how, well, really the state's giving money to the parents, so it's kind of okay, you know. Yeah, it's very, very misleading and spinny.
All right, what else do you have to say, you fuck?
For working class families, we shouldn't ask them to have to make the terrible decision is that next week they might have to go to work. People need to grieve. This is the most tragic thing I've ever seen as a senator, as a state representative.
Yeah, and why would they have to go back to work? What would make them go back to work despite having just experienced a horrible tragedy and needing time to grieve, sir? What would do it? Capitalism? He's like, it would be so horrible if these people had to go back to... I don't get these... It's just so weird to hear people criticize capitalism and then not only not name it, but then name something else to blame. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Public servant. And I've seen a lot. I've been through Katrina and Rita in San Antonio when I was on the city council, and I saw 16,000 refugees come to San Antonio. At the end of the day, this is the biggest thing that is just devastating this community. We've got to make sure that the resources are here.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice. Americans are so generous. You want to just make sure that the money goes to the right place. Two things here. Here's the Uvalde mayor talking about
Americans are so generous.
That in all likelihood could happen. Let's roll this.
And that's, of course, pushing the narrative that like everything could be fixed with charity, which is a lie. That right-wingers are very into, of like, you can't like legislate, you can't tax people, you have to just let people give, and it doesn't work that way.
It's also what it's doing is putting responsibility in the hands of the civilian. By pushing for charity. Now, I'm not saying don't donate to charity.
No,
that's awesome. Do that. But what I'm saying is,
the right ones.
This is the non-fraudulent one.
Yeah.
This is pushing that narrative that I hear so frequently when things like this happen, when terrible things happen or natural disasters happen, things that could be taken, action could be taken on them by government officials, like recycling, for instance, or conserving water. In Los Angeles County, what is it? 3% of Los Angeles's water use
4%.
is
very low.
Civilians, is people, and we're told like to turn off our showers. It's that kind of thing where it's like, oh well, the American people are so generous; they've been donating. This is not something that's going to be fixed by the American people donating.
Yeah, because the number of American people who would have to donate to match the monetary power of just the government funding things. It's like you need like 100 million people to voluntarily donate to match like a single pen stroke from a lawmaker. It's fucking nuts. And it's just, the lawmakers are there so that you don't need 100 million people to voluntarily crowdsource fund our society.
Yeah, it's just there's so much responsibility being put on civilians in so many of these situations, and it's incredibly disheartening because these are things that can be fixed by the government easily, and they're just refusing to do it. And so by saying like, thank you so much guys for donating, it's like, oh, we couldn't have done that. Oh, it was in the hand of the Americans.
We had to give a few more $1 billion to Elon Musk.
Yeah,
we don't
honestly.
have money for that.
Vice plans are but to tear that building down, and it needs to be torn down. I would never expect a child to have to ever walk in those doors ever.
Oh, so they did mean raise.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So to destroy the school.
Destroy the school.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm going to shut the window. It's way too loud.
Sure. That's an interesting question. Should the school be destroyed?
Destroy the school? I mean,
I don't
know about that one.
I don't know about that one either.
Also, yeah, I guess we'll take back calling him out for saying raise.
Well, yeah, no, we were just confused. Like, what do you mean? I didn't know they were considering destroying the school.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel.
Because it seems to me, like, my first reaction is, like, it feels like a waste of time and energy to destroy the school and then build a whole new one. Like, the first place my mind goes is that there's something going on behind the scenes here. That there's someone who can make money or a number of people who can make money off of building a new tearing down a school and building a new school. It feels like a little shady, not to be conspiratorial, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Someone's going to make money off of that, and it seems like, aren't there better ways to use those funds for kids in school than to destroy and rebuild a materially functional school?
Yeah, I understand, like, psychologically not going back into that school for kids.
Especially, like, I would understand if, like, all the kids... I mean, yeah, because that's the other side of it to me. It's like, I don't want to say to the kids, like, you have to go back to this school.
Yeah.
Because I can see how that would be disturbing.
Yeah. Welcome back, Fox.
Hey, Fox.
So we actually just started. So we just got back. So we're talking about they're apparently raising money to
destroy the school. It's an interesting question of, like, should this school where this horrible incident happened be destroyed? Because obviously for the kids who lived through it, though now I'm wondering, like, with all the other horrible school shootings there have been, I mean, I assume the standard is kids just go back to school at that school. And I wonder if any studies have been done looking at the impact on those kids who've had to go back to school. I don't think there's a clear answer, at least not.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily want to be conspiratorial about it. Like, perhaps it makes
it's sincere.
sense.
Perhaps this guy is just like, the kids shouldn't have to go and attend this school where they watch their friends get shot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's totally genuine. We don't know. And there is part of me that's like, that sounds expensive, and who's going to get paid to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy with the leaf blower is standing right there, holding the leaf blower, facing and looking in our window. I'm like, go away.
He's probably like, what's with all the colored lights?
Yeah.
What's going on in there? What are they doing in there?
Stop leaf blowing.
And gone.
Maybe that's best for the community in time. Pete Arredondo is also the school district police chief. Apparently he gave the orders to stay outside the classroom the other day. He hasn't taken any questions. I have not seen him in public. He could shed light on, well, a lot, frankly.
Glad I'm not that guy right now.
Have you spoken to him or heard from him?
I have not spoken to Mr. Arredondo. I don't know Mr. Arredondo. I saw him for the first time at the initial briefing. He's taken a lot of heat for sure, but I think that every agency that was at that scene should be taking heat. Listen, active shooter protocol say you go in. We're putting it all on the local cop with 6 cops beneath him. At the end of the day, the police showed up. After that, the sheriff showed up. After that, the state troopers showed up. They have this incredible border force that we've just added.
And they're saying, like, we're putting it all on the local cops. And, like, I saw someone post a thing the other day that I thought was really astute about, like, most people, like, I think it's safe to say the large majority of people, human beings, regardless of nation and any other label, human beings, most, I think, if they heard children screaming in a building and were told there's a shooter in there shooting kids and here's a gun and armor, they would charge in to help those kids. Like, I don't want to presume to know exactly how I'd respond in a stressful situation like that, and I do think that's what I do.
Parents, I think, would.
Parents, yeah, I think parents, it's without question.
And the parents were trying to.
Absolutely. But, like, what I thought was interesting about this person's post is, like, making the point of, like, really, I think most people, like, have that instinct of, like, a child is in danger, and I have a thing that I could go stop the person endangering them. Like, I do think that is the common human inclination, and I mean, the point this post was making is that there's something, like cops are more cowardly than your average person walking down the street.
Yeah.
It seems that way. That these people were supposed to be the brave ones, supposed to be the heroes, supposed to be have the will to charge into these situations, that they seem to be more cowardly than just your average whoever. And how, intense that, and I think definitely ties into how, like, right-wingers just are more fearful on average, and, like, there have been a number of studies about this.
It feels like, in this situation, it's just speaking to, this is an example where the cops are in no position of power, because it seems like, when cops, like, pull someone over, or something like that, they have this, like, absolute tough guy, like, I'll beat the shit out of you, I'll kill you for no reason. But when they're not in a situation of power, this is the reaction. Like, I don't think these guys would have ran away if they were
Right.
pulling someone over at a traffic
That's
stop.
the thing. When they've got some innocent, unarmed person in a car pulled over to the side of the road.
Then cops are scary spooky.
Oh, then they're the toughest motherfuckers. Then they're ready to put their hands on their hips and
Their
look
chest
down
goes
their nose
15
at you.
sizes.
Yeah. License registration, sir. License registration, please. But when there's actual danger, they're like, "Oh, I'll just
Scary.
grab my kids and then run away."
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
course, the
totally,
last-
Fox.
And Fox, I agree.
Several months.
And yeah, well, that's like what I was saying, Merv. Like, I don't want to presume too much because the fight or flight response can be very, it's you don't really know till you're in it. Right. And my guess is, I do think most people, if like a kid walks out into the street, like people run out to grab the kid and
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Like,
I mean, yeah, running out into the street is a little different. But,
yes,
but
absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, I do think the general human instinct is to protect the children because of, like, our evolutionary development and our tribal living, and that, traditionally, for much of human existence, children were raised by the entire tribe. And that we didn't even know that parenting was a thing. We had yet to figure out that there was the patriarchal ownership, which seemed to kind of ruin all of human society, the proto-society we had at the time. Thanks for the follow.
I'm a Bill O'Reilly fan.
Bill, yeah. Okay. Wow, that's quite a thing to stake your whole identity on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to go in. And so I've asked Colonel McGraw for some more answers. I expect that I'll be getting those this week. I want to know when each officer was there from whatever law enforcement entity and where they were situated. And I'm also asking for the manuals of those agencies to determine this notion of officer in operational control. At what point do we not give that to the greater entity that has more manpower, more ammunition, more equipment? State troopers are fully equipped to handle this type of situation. That should have been done. Yeah. Even the federal government waited for a bit. Finally, one said, "The hell with it, we're going in."
Sir, thank you for your time. Good luck today.
So he's
I
saying
mentioned
that the fact that state
today.
troopers weren't sent in is the problem, and that you can't blame the cops because they weren't state troopers?
Yeah, it just seems weird and blame shifty to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's totally just, misguiding
100%.
propaganda. We evolved.
Jesus Christ.
Let's go, Brandon.
Isn't that funny? It's the funniest joke in the entire world.
So I'm
Why
curious.
don't you just
I'm
say
curious,
fuck Joe Biden?
I'm curious. I'm a Bill O'Reilly fan.
Yeah.
What happened to you? Why are you like this? Like, what made you like Bill O'Reilly? And like, can you trace it back to like a
Like, what
specific
broke your
incident?
brain?
Yeah, what broke your brain? You make gas.
You're funny.
I guess that's why gas prices went up all over the planet. Yeah, parasocial Andy. It's just, this is what right-wingers are like.
I'm going to give you like 5 minutes to be a normal person before we ban you. So
Yeah.
you can try.
Right, yeah, if you want to try to be
Like-
fix your brain real quick.
Real quick.
You've got a couple minutes.
Yeah. Good luck. May the force be with you.